Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition. We just talked to this fellow over here, Alace, and found out that he is from a Prime Material world. Let's go ahead and talk to Barkis, the barkeep, I assume. You see a leather-skinned man with just a hint of ashen color to his face. His teeth are sharper than normal, and his eyes are filled with the boredom that comes with having seen too much. His voice is nasal and clipped. You again, eh? What do you want this time? You again? What do you mean?
Yeah, you again. You got a hearing problem or something now? You was in here about 15 years ago, got all bubbed up, smashed up the place, and left a pile of coin that wasn't enough to pay for the damages. So you plucked out your own bleeding eyeball and tells me that you'll be back to reclaim it when you got 200 coins together. With 15 years of interest, you got about 500 coins. You got the jink? Pal, I got your eye.
500? That's ridiculous. He pauses for a moment, considering.
That it is. Tell you what, give me 300 and the eye's yours.
What's the deal? Here's your money. He produces a darkened, wax-stoppered, wide-mouthed bottle from his pocket. You hear the sound of liquid sloshing around inside it, along with a heavier, squishier noise. Opening it, the stench of some sort of preservative agent nearly makes you gag, floating in the viscid muck is an eyeball. You'd better figure out what you want to do with that. Now you've exposed it to the air, you might as well put a pickled egg in the jar for all the good it'll do you. Make up your mind, Cutter. Pickled egg or not? Watch it rot. Wow. Tear out your eyeball and place this one in the socket. Gain 1,000 experience points. With a moment's hesitation, you reach into your socket and pop out your eye into the palm of your hand. The bartender helpfully severs the optic nerve and directs your hand to the jar of goo that sits on the bar. You deposit your eye in the preservative, wrap your fingers around the old one, and slide it into your empty socket. The pain of this entire operation is incredible. After a moment, though, you can feel the optic nerve reattaching itself to this new eye, and suddenly you are hit by a flash of memory. Absorb it. Memory flash. A vast expanse of chaotic, ever-changing wasteland stretching before you. A group of humanoid vultures plummeting toward you. Oh, hi, Vrox. Cruel weapons ready to strike, and your own shining blade clutched tightly in your fist. Memory flash. 3 tufts surround you, in the colors of an enemy you can't quite place. Long daggers glisten in their hands, and the light glints cruelly from their exposed teeth. You glance at your scarred hands and know that soon they'll be covered in blood. Memory flash. An enormous frog-like creature comes bounding through under chaos stuff. Oh, hi, Slotty. Headed for you with a mouthful of teeth. You hurl your javelin through the shifting matter and pin the creature to a sudden stone plinth. You've recalled some of your lost fighting skills. Ask more questions of Brachus. Proficiency points increased permanently. Ooh.
Hurry it up, will ya? I got paying customers.
Who are you?
Me, I'm Barkis, owner and keeper of this place.
What is this place?
Don't you see the sign out front?
No, I didn't really look.
Didn't you see the Burke burning over the furnace when you came in? It's a smoldering corpse, Cutter. Best damn bub house in Sigil. At least it's the best damn bub house in this part of the hive, which makes it one of the best in Sigil. Hell, they got fancy places with plants and such in the ladies' ward. But they got fiendish taverns salted around the rest of the hive. But none of them got the character of the smoldering corpse.
Who is the corpse, anyway?
Him? Ignis. He used to be a flame wizard, burned down pieces of the hive, and got himself scragged by a bunch of other mages. You want to know more about him? Go talk to Drusilla down there by the door.
Alright. What can you tell me of the patrons here?
I don't make it a point to interfere with the lives of the people who give me their hard-earned jink unless they ask me to. So over there is Kandrian, Planewalker. He's a good one to talk to about any planewalking questions you might have. He's been pretty much everywhere. Down there is Ebb Creeknees, an old harmonium basher. Don't hold that against him. And a tout. Well, it's whatever. He's got a good heart in him, and he knows Sigil up and down. Them fiends over there are Aethelgrin and Tagarin. Word of advice, don't deal with them. They might be low rankers in the fiend hierarchy, but they're still fiends. And you got Ilkix Quicks over here. Not trustworthy, and some mercy killers looking for some poor sod. Dekon the Githzerai is a mystery to me. Don't know much about him. You don't talk much. Finally, you interested in earning some free bub?
Sure. Aren't we all?
There's a bubber over there against the far wall hanging about in the shadows who's been trying to work up her courage to slip out without covering her tab. I want you to make sure she don't do that. You do it, and you got free bub here for life.
I'll do it. Answer me some questions first. I'm looking for a journal.
A journal? Paper and words? Friend, that sort of thing don't get much stock around down here in the hive. Folks here can barely read the sign above the door, much less an entire journal. If you're looking for a journal, you do better to have a system instead of asking folks willy-nilly.
Thanks for the unasked for advice. Answer a different question, then.
Hurry up, we got paying customers.
I want something to drink.
What do you want? We got your basic beer for a copper, bitters for 2, mead for 4. We got water straight from the elemental plane for 8 copper, and we got Arborean fire wine and fire seeds for 10. Cursed heart wine for 8, and Bator's own whiskey for 20. What do you have?
Oh, let's have the water. He moves back to a keg on the wall and turns the spigot. The clearest water you have ever seen pours from the nozzle into the glass he holds underneath it. He sets it down in front of you, and you take a deep draught. It is the purest thing you have ever tasted, a coldness inherent to the water itself, a feeling of air that passes over your tongue and into your stomach, where its coolness calms even the raging of your passions for a moment.
From the heart of the elemental plane of water, Barkus snorts. Any other water you ever drink's gonna taste dirty by comparison.
Quite an experience. My thanks. Farewell. Okay, so I did not. I did not actually get like a different eyeball, which I kind of thought I was going to. But I now have. Where is it? Unused slots 5. All right. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's talk to Ilquix. You see a short, rotund man with a perplexed expression on his face. From the lines of on his loose skin, it looks like he's not too uncommon. It looks like it's not too uncommon. He carries a flagon of ale that looks like it's in the process of being emptied, rapidly. In between swallows, he speaks in a gentle voice, so quiet that you can barely hear his words. Hello, traveler. My name is Ilquix. Can I be of some assistance to you? Greetings! I would like to ask you some questions. What do you want to know, my friend? Who exactly are you? I am but a humble man with a slight flowery poetic bent and a tendency toward the supernatural. I regret that I have none of my supplies here, or I should be most eager to teach you of the ways of power. Perhaps some later time? Yes, I'd like that. For now, I have some other questions. What can you tell me about this place? This place, the Smoldering Corpse Tavern, a fine establishment with a fine owner. Barkus is a true gentleman and ambitious to increase his standing to boot. These, I feel, are the most useful qualities one can possess. They drive people. I had some other questions. What can you tell me of the patrons of this place? The patrons of this tavern are many and varied. I have spoken with most and find them delightful, with the exception of those creatures of law. He gestures towards the pair of Abishai sitting in the corner. They taint the air with their presence, lending an unwholesome stench to an otherwise pleasant environment. I recommend speaking to Barkus. I understand he requires some aid with a trifling matter. Then we have that O character. I am still trying to understand him fully. It is quite an undertaking, if I say so myself. Those are the folk of interest in here. The others, well, perhaps I am too discriminating. Why do you despise creatures of law? Ah, fine question, my friend. My upbringing has been on the chaotic side of the Great Ring. You may speak to Candrian Illborn, a misnomer if ever I heard one, of the plains. He fancies himself a great planewalker. To return from my digression, I have lived many years with chaos and find it pleasantly agreeable. To me, the taint of law as in those creatures there is reprehensible and tyrannical. If I am to be crushed underfoot, I'd rather it be by an individual than a machine that knows nothing of emotion. I disagree. Ilquix smiles toothily, his fat cheeks barely moving. To each his own, I say. Do you have more questions? Sure. Who is that Burning Man, and why isn't he at Burning Man? That is the last unfortunate who chose to exercise his individual will without the strength to back up his desires. His name is Ignis, and he was a pyromaniac. He burned and didn't burn the right people, and wound up channeling more raw power than he could control. Now, well, you can see what became of him. If you wish to learn more of him, perhaps that poor creature Drusilla can help you. I see. I had some other questions. I'm trying to get this, trying to find a way to make this Mochai pay for her drinks. I don't actually know who Mochai is, but hey, the name just came into my head. Any suggestions? He laughs, his jowls shaking loosely, almost seeming to fall from his face. You could always poison her, friend. A dose of that was always effective in bringing resolution to nearly any conflict. He laughs again. Of course, I'm joking, he winks. Of course you are. You are chaotic evil, aren't you? Farewell.
I'm gone.
Can we go in here? We can. This once functional door is now nailed shut and barred on the inside to protect against thieves. Oh. This metal table is scarred with talons, knives, teeth, and the marks of innumerable tavern brawls. Like the air around it, it is warm to the touch. Same thing. Hello. This crackling, billowing creature twists slowly above an iron grill upon the floor of the bar. It may have once been human, but now its skin is charred beyond recognition. Streams of fire form a wreath around the creature's body, and the flames lick at the few remaining pockets of flesh, causing them to bubble and run like wax down this creature's skeletal frame. Greetings? The thing makes no response. It writhes slowly within the flames. It lives, but it does not seem aware of anything other than the fire that surrounds its skin. Its skin is flame, its heart is flame, and you know, within some shadowed corner of your memory, that thing is dangerous. Let's examine the creature. The heat surrounding this creature is incredible. To your surprise, the iron grill the creature floats above has sagged and bent from the heat. At first, you thought the heat came from the grill, but now you realize it emanates from the corpse. As you watch, flecks of ash drift from the writhing corpse and float slowly to the ceiling. Let's leave the thing alone. Maybe we will be able to save it eventually. Alright, let's go talk to Mochai. You see someone dressed as a female dustman with a half-empty glass in her right hand. As you near her, she calls out to you, you, over here. You notice that there's something wrong with her, and your exposure to the dustman leads you to believe that she's just too lively to be a real member of the faction. Alright, let's approach her. Hey, Cutter, buy a lady a drink? You're not really a dustman, are you? Poison her drink with the embalming fluid. Wow. Let's go with this. She looks around nervously and seems to sober right up. Why do you say that? Because you don't act like a dusty. And you're not offering contracts. In fact, you're taking money in instead of giving it out for that corpse labor they do at the mortuary. She stifles a squeak of terror, then hastens to explain. No. I'm not a dustman. I just found these robes in the street, and I didn't have enough money to get good clothes, and I heard there was a dustman thief around. But you could probably find him somewhere else in the southwest part of the hive. I saw him, but I hid from him. Please don't hurt me. I'm not planning on it. You ought to know that you're not pulling it off too well. Now answer some questions. What do you want to know? Who are you? Me? I'm Mochai. I just like to, drink here, and, She loses her train of thought momentarily. I'm just a person, you know? I see. Marcus says it's time for you to settle your tab. Pay up. She jumps a little, and her nervous tension becomes fully fledged anxiety. What are you going to do? Ask you to pay up. Now. I can't afford it. Can you spot me just 10%? I'll, give it to him, and he knows I'll pay the rest. How much do you need? I think I need about 100 coins to get started on that. Holy cow! The first option is poison or drink with the embalming fluid. Wow. Can you think of another solution? Another way to pay? She smiles sadly. You could always, kill me. Distractor. I could, but what's that over there? I could, but I'd rather find another solution. She looks up at you for a moment longer, swaying where she stands, and then says, all right. Did you want something else? Yes, some answers. What is this place? Smoldering Corpse Tavern. Can't you read? You, more bubbed than I am? Forget it. Tell me something else. Tell me about the other patrons here. Dunno, they're just, people. I don't deal much with people. Unless they're buying me a drink. She looks at you hopefully. I see. Who's the burning corpse? He's, not a corpse. He's, some crazy wizard. Ask around. They'll tell you the story. Alright, farewell for now. I'm not planning on doing this, but I'm gonna... This isn't gonna be the permanent thing. Let's see. Let's do Distractor. Over where? She whips her head around to stare at where you're pointing and pauses for a moment as she focuses her drink-addled eyes. I don't see anything. Let's poison her drink with the embalming fluid. What are you doing? She sees you readying your bottle of embalming fluid and watches you suspiciously. Ah, interesting. Well, maybe we could do this. She seems not as... I suspect she's not as drink-addled as she's playing at. Just putting my bottle on the table. I brought my own drink. Relax the pure attitude. I'm digging through my stuff and reminding myself what I'm carrying. She looks at you for a moment longer, swaying where she stands, and then says, all right. Did you want something else? Okay, so you can't actually poison her. Poison her drink with the embalming fluid. Apparently that goes right into the thing. Just putting my bottle on the table. Huh. Can you not actually do this? Nothing that concerns you. Alright, well, just in case that, like, altered my, alignment. Which it doesn't seem to. Let's see. Smoldering Corpse Bar. There we go. I wish I would put the most recent one up at the top. Alright, so let's talk to some other people, see if we can get, some sort of, information out of them. This is a woman with a far-off cast to her face. She is not exactly young, nor is she exactly old. Perhaps it's the expression of slight disbelief that's etched across her features. The expression says that she doesn't believe her senses. When she focuses on you, she speaks sharply, but not angrily. Do you need something? What was that you and your friend were saying about Sigil? He's not my friend, he's my cousin. He was just telling me that this isn't the center of the multiverse, despite it being located smack in the middle of the Outlands, despite it being the focal point of portals from all over the cosmos. There isn't a known place with more, despite all the quarreling the gods do over it, despite the sheer variety of concentration of power that accumulates here. There's no place like this in the cosmos, and he's telling me it's nothing special. Ha! That's an interesting perspective. Perhaps you both have have elements of truth. Perhaps you're correct, but I find such relativism is often beyond me. Either the place is important or it is not. Paradox may fuel the planes, but there must be sense of it somehow. Not necessarily, but I don't have time to argue this right now. Instead, I'd like to ask you questions. Are you? I'm Kyrus Thorntongue. I'm here with my cousin because my uncle doesn't want me wandering the hive on my own. He doesn't seem to think I'm competent on my own. He may be right. I don't know the city or this plane very well. I'm not from here. I'm from the Prime.
You're from the Prime?
Visiting, expanding my horizons. The Prime is a fine place to live, but it's a little too real, I suppose. My uncle gives each of his nieces and nephews a few years in the plains, and allows us to remain here if we so desire. I think I might so desire. I am fascinated and repelled, but then, I suppose that's the nature of the plains, isn't it?
What is your uncle, an archwizard? Or is he just trying to kill you all?
I understand it, yes. Do you have enough knowledge to give me some answers? I'm looking for a journal. Yeah, alright. I don't think there's anything else. Let's talk to you. This is a slightly balding man with a cynical cast to his face. He speaks in a staccato voice, rapping out each word distinctly and clearly. What do you want, Cutter? What was that you and your friend were saying? Ah, my cousin, he stresses the word as if to emphasize that he has no choice in his acquaintance, has recently come here from her backwater prime world. My uncle, a renowned wizard, brought her here to expand her horizons. She labors under the delusion that this is the center of the multiverse, and she thinks it's somehow important. Since I've lived here my whole life, I know otherwise. It's a place the powers in the Planeborn overlook, just as humans overlook the squirrels in their city parks. It's not important, and the sooner humans come to realize they're not important, the better off they'll be. Really? I'll have to hear her justification for this. In the meantime, can you answer some questions? I'm looking for a journal. I haven't seen one, at least not one that's stuck out in my mind. If it wasn't valuable, try the trash mounds out on the opposite end of the hive. I sympathize with your plight. Journals are the very essence of identity. They keep us aware of our past and help us plot our future paths. I always keep a journal myself, and I find I am a better person because of it. He says this last with self-satisfied relish. The trash warns? My thanks. Alright. What's the worst that could happen by talking to Abishai? Hey, I mean, they are named. You see a scaled fiend who looks very similar to the one standing next to him. In addition to the pierced left ears, both are black-hued and reptilian, with bat wings tucked against themselves. This one has a small scar under its left eye.
Greetings, old comrade. 'Tis truly a joy to see you again.
Are there nothing but black Abishai in this game? Again?
What I mean, dear man, is that time our old enemy has performed a vicious disservice on you. It robs your memories and steals your recollections. If you do not recall us, why, it is because you have fallen prey to one of mortality's weaknesses. We are old friends of yours, old indeed. What can we do for you?
I had some questions.
Some questions? Perhaps we have answers. We are certainly eager to aid you, old friend.
Ah, well, in that case, I'm looking for a journal.
I keep no journals, friend, and I counsel that you should not either. Ask my dear comrade Tagarin why, and you shall receive enlightenment.
Oh, very well. Tagarin, why should I not keep a journal?
Because, friend, it is easy to make the mistake of committing a true word to posterity, and easier still for someone you once trusted.
And here he shoots a glance full of venom at Aethelgrin.
To find that word and use it against you. Indeed, it can even lead to actions tantamount to desertion. Leaving or losing a journal can cost you your very existence.
I see. And some other questions. Boss, I'm more sure than ever that these Burks ain't on the up and up. Sounds to me like they deserted. Like they're looking for some angle that'll elevate their status in Bator. You don't want to be talking to them, boss. You really don't know what game they're playing. You could get burned. Literally. Alright, but just a few more questions for these two, Morton.
Why, is that a little floating skull I see? There's a lovely sweet scent of Batorian decay about you, my pretty. Perhaps we should discuss this later.
The Abishai returns its attentions to you.
Now then, you said you had some questions?
Yes. Who are you?
Aethelgrin, time has robbed our companion's memory. You honestly do not recall us, do you? Truly, I am aggrieved. But as am I, Tagarin. Truly aggrieved. Yet I rest easy. It has, after all, been many hundreds of years, and we know how the minds of mortals tend to dissipate with age. Ah, well spoken, old friend. We are a pair of Abishai on leave from our current assignments in Bator. I am Tagarin, the thrice damned, so named for my ability to find the best in every situation. This is Aethelgrin, who has earned himself no special name, though not for lack of trying. Lack of trying? What do you mean? Aethelgrin ignores you as it responds to its companion. And once again, Tagarin, you have cut straight to the truth of the matter, though perhaps it is best not to have earned the sort of notice one bearing the name thrice damned must surely have incurred.
I had some other questions. Mort whispers to you.
Boss, I don't like this.
They're not supposed to be here. The Blood War hasn't kicked the Celestials' asses bad enough that any fiend can go on furlough. They want something. Tread carefully. In the meantime, Tagarin continues to respond to its companion. In its turn, Tagarin ignores you and replies to its comrade.
Once again, I maintain that any notice is better than no notice at all.
The Abishai turns back to you.
Old friend, does this answer your question as to our identities?
I suppose it will have to. I had some other questions. Some questions, perhaps we haven't... Okay, that's the same thing. Tell me about fiends. As we see it, there are two kinds of fiends, those who are correct and those who are not. Our side, that of the Beta Zoo, is correct. The other side, that of the cursed hatred, chaotic Tanari, is incorrect and must be exterminated. What about Yugoloths? Shut up. Don't interrupt. We hold the Tanari directly responsible for the Blood War. Were it not for them, we could have settled the lower planes in peace, and wouldn't have all the bother of fighting this wretched war, nor would the unfortunate spillovers into other planes be such a cause for concern among the namby-pamby do-gooders. The Tanari are directly to blame for the multiverse's sad state of affairs. That's not really what I was asking. I want to know what differentiates you from them. The fiend pauses a moment, and then brightens. Ah, yes, you see, we represent law and order. Those who break the law must be punished. If we have no law, we have only anarchy. And surely you can see that what anarchy has done for the Abyss. It has spawned horrors beyond imagining. What, you're saying that pit fiends aren't horrible? Any excesses the Beta Zoo state may have indulged in are simply to counter the rising tide of chaos represented by the Tanari. We mean no harm to anyone. We just prefer to understand where the boundaries are. Okay. I don't think I have any other questions for you. Nothing, farewell. I don't really know what Mort was getting at about that, but, you know. Alright, we've already talked to you about that. Guess we'll come down here and see if either you two have any suggestions. Nope. 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 Alright, I guess we just have to lend her the money. This is a very interesting... this is a really weird one. Oh, I guess it's just follow, rather than maintain a formation. Alright, ask you to pay up. How much do you need? I'll lend you the money. Here, take it and pay up, now. She pockets her jink, glances briefly towards the door, almost as if she's weighing her chances of dashing out. Sighs heavily as she realizes there's no chance, and begins to walk glumly toward the bar. My thanks, I suppose. Don't mention it, and don't even think about heading for the door until you've paid up. So is she actually going that way? She is. Very, very slowly. Very, very, very slowly. Oh! Never talked to you. You see a man standing stock still. He isn't moving a muscle. On closer examination, it appears that he isn't even breathing, just standing. His eye sockets are empty holes in his face. Contained within their bounds is a flat gray light that seems to dance with possibility. Looking into the sockets, the eerie, empty feeling of limitless void shivers through you, as if you had gazed into a sliver of eternity. The head slowly swivels towards you. You notice that no muscles appear to move under his skin as he turns. And he speaks in a pure bell-like tone. Well met, Wanderer. You have forgotten again, haven't you? Do you know me, stranger? As he opens his mouth, you get the feeling of eternity again. Inside his mouth, you see no tongue, no teeth. It's almost as if this man were a shell surrounding an illimitable expanse. I have spoken with you before, and always you forget. Your endless quest to discover yourself ends always in your amnesia. You draw close to the truth and recoil. Let us hope that you have the strength to endure your existence. What do you know of me? How do you know this? I know that you, like a fly, rise up from the wreckage of your old self, buzz about for a time, and curl up and die at the window of truth. You bumble about the plains, seeking the light without any plan to your actions, and fall exhausted when you fail. You alight on others to feed from them for a time, and move on with no regard to them. I have watched you come here, and listened to your words, and watched you move away no wiser. Will you learn from your mistakes, Seeker? I don't think I like your tone. Attack him! Who are you? I am O. For some reason, when he speaks his name, it sounds like he's speaking for much more than a single letter, as if the speaking of his name contained untold possibilities and nuances. No human tongue could ever create such a sound. What are you? It is my name. It is the name of a portion of eternity. I am a letter in the divine alphabet. Understanding me leads to understanding existence. I am written the true names of half of everything. I don't know about half of everything. I don't think O is that common. My being encompasses truth. I am mathematic, organic, metaphysic. I think you're entirely crazy. So what does that mean? The divine alphabet is written the name of everything that exists. From the seed at the hearts of the elemental planes to the core of the great beyond. My brothers, sisters, a single word translates into the two in your mind. And I reach across all that was, or ever shall be. So why not just go with siblings? We are thought and reality and concept and the unimaginable. Well, tell me about the great beyond. You would not understand. No mortal possibly could. It is beyond the powers of your comprehension of all, powers of comprehension of all but the most powerful of powers. And once they understand, they move beyond the veil of mortal comprehension. I can explain it no more than that. Perhaps sometime you will understand. So, what are you doing here? Why, I am watching the ebb and flow of mortality. And what do you see? You mortals are like wasps. You build your lives' nests from the slimmest of branches. And when the wind shakes your home life free, you seek to sting the wind to death. Instead of realizing your foolish mistakes, attempting to repair the damage you have caused yourselves, and learning from your experience, you bring harm to any who have the misfortune to blunder near you in your time of pain and distress. My advice to you, and to all mortals, stop acting like an insect and start acting sentient. I'll think about that. In the meantime, answer some more questions for me. I'm looking for a journal. It's urgent. Do you know where I might find it? I know where you can find it, but it is not my place to reveal such information. Rest assured you will find it, as well as the man you seek. What do you know of that? I know that your journey takes you far beyond your journal quest, to the very edges of existence. You will struggle for your life and your very spirit, and I do not tell you any more regarding this. Then tell me of something else. Tell me the patrons of this tavern. The patrons of this place are varied, yet all mortal. Like all mortals, their concerns are limited. I don't think Abishai are technically mortal. I don't think that they live... I mean, they're mortal in that they can be killed. But they're not mortal in that they age. I mean, that's usually what I think of when I think of mortal. Immortal. You know? That they age. Whatever. Like all mortals, their concerns are limited with their potential of blossoming into actual truth. I can tell you this, though. You may find a companion dear to your heart here. At least as dear to your heart as your heart will allow. I don't think I like your tone. I think I should be insulted, but I'll let that slip. Come to think of it, nothing. Farewell. Alright, well, we did find a companion, so that's good. Seriously, Mochai? You are so incredibly slow. Why are you so god-awful slow? You know, at least it's giving me time to heal. Here's, some money. I'll bring in more, later. You'd better, or I'll send him after you again. I don't think she'd mind that, you know. Yeah, we can run behind the bar. Back again? What now? You won't be having trouble with Mochai again. 1,000 experience points. Then, friend, you have full bar privileges for free. Anything you want anytime. It must have been a pretty big tab she ran up. You don't know the half of it. You want a drink now? Set me up. Mead. You quaff the weak drink. The flavor isn't exactly bold, but it's filling and it's alcoholic. It doesn't seem to do anything else for you. Alright, that's all. Maybe we'll expand our horizons in the next episode. But for now, we'll call it an episode, and when we get back, we'll talk to the Mercy Killers up here and see if we can figure out what they want. See you next time, everyone.